right, welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Nyanco Card. Um, as mentioned previously, this is a game within the Nyanco franchise, the Nyanco multimedia experiment, whatever they're calling this. Um, but with Nyanco Card here, it's a bit more because, long and short, it's basically a crossover with the Toho universe.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little weird.
I guess, but there's a whole elaborate backstory on this too. Um, uh, here are the here's the bullet points. Nyanco has left for another world with her partner, the Sword Spirit. Thanks to the training with the many anime girls, Nyanco has become very powerful, and all that remains is to save her world. I'm going to suspect that this was machine translated a bit, or it's got a bit of ESL to it. Anyway, in order to achieve her goal, Nyanco passed through the magical gate with the Sword Spirit, but has arrived in the Jisankyo world in the Toho project instead.
Gensokyo.
Thank you. After playing for a while with some of the Fantasy Town's villagers, Nyanco has finally found a way back to her original world. However, in order for a new magical gate to be opened, it requires the use of many magical spell cards. Though because of somebody's mischief, those cards have been spread across the world as parts to a new card game. As a result, the new card game has been gaining popularity in the Fantasy Township. Nyanco now has to collect all kinds of different cards so she can open the new magic gate. Keep in mind, however, that this card game could be addictive enough to make you forget who you are. Can Nyanco overcome this adversity? Put your skills to the test and achieve victory. I guess it requires a bit more writing to justify a crossover than it is to be kidnapped by aliens. But yeah, there's your setup for what is essentially a crossover card game. And Twilight Winter will be helming this review, so take it away.
All right, yeah. So you got the backstory there. You're gonna be collecting. Well, it seems the objective is optional between the collecting all the cards, but your other objective is that you can collect these 9 badges as well from certain characters in Gensokyo. Think of them as bosses, basically. So yeah, so for the gameplay of the card game, it's basically a very basic version of Triple Triad, which some people may be familiar with from Final Fantasy VIII. Each card has 4 sets of numbers on it, and you place them on a 3x3 grid, and what's the best word for it? Counter a card with a card at least with a larger number on whichever side you place it beside of. Like the numbers range from 1 to 10, though 10 is represented by A for some reason.
Ace,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Although technically Ace is 1, but it beats whatever, so
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, so yeah, at least there, the larger number, each smaller number. That sounds at least fairly really simple there, but there's a combo system in this that works in 2 different manners. The first one is the same combo, which is basically 2 touching cards with matching size apparently can be captured. Um, and that always kind of confused me and how it works. This combo system, is kind of confusing. Uh, at least the other part of it is basically, of course, you can capture two cards at the same time, obviously, and such. And there's this whole chain combo you can do as well, and I never really could figure it out. I always end up triggering it by accident. It's always seems to involve a smaller card having a certain total number score for it that makes it work. The instructions were never very clear on how that worked, so can't really say much about that. But it can become the bane mm, of your game, so to speak. In matches, and but you can always just brute force your ways to victory in these games. So it ain't too big of a deal. But it's handy when you manage to pull it off. So yeah, they obviously each of the cards have Toho characters on them. Of various details. Some are much more detailed than the others. Some using kind of basic sprite um, uh, design. Some of much more detailed. Um, well, much more detailed, basically. Yeah, better designed. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Now there is as shown earlier here. There's a shop system you can use. Two different ones. Uh, One of them is run by a resident only male character in the Toho franchise via Nosuke. You can buy various cards from him, and surprisingly, his inventory never changes. I'm not sure why. He sells some.
Does he just have basic staples available?
Yeah, he only has like the more basic, weaker cards. Some of them, some of the strongest ones are okay. Though of course, as you go through the game, I guess I should mention that in winning a match, you can take another character's card, and they can take your card as well. But of
It's
course,
basically triple triad from what I see here.
yeah, it is triple high triad. I mentioned that. Yeah, at its most basic, there's no elemental alignment type deal going on here. It's just larger number eats smaller number, basically. Yeah, and with a combo system, yeah, that you can at least capture two cards and has another chain-based combo system that I could never really make any sense out of, and always done by accident. um, so there's the other shopkeeper, Marissa, who you never duel against. There's actually a few characters you never duel against in this game, and Marissa's one of them. The witch, for the people who are not familiar with this series. She sells booster packs, but they only come in one card though, which kind of feels like a ripoff when you buy them. But it's actually handy as well. There are varying prices. You start off with 2,000, I think, gold. I think I forgot what the currency was, but anyway, and you can gain more um, by collecting cards from the people you duel against, and and selling them to her or Ryanosuke. Um, in terms of the other characters, he was kind of wandering around. You can speak to him. You don't say anything. This is, um, well, when you encountered him, your Toho encyclopedia gets updated and you get information about the character, and that's about it. Nyanco does talk to some of them, and they talk for a bit, and that's about it. Otherwise, as the backstory mentions, the characters are so obsessed with this card game that they forget who they are and they never do talk to you. They just say the basic: they want to duel you, or they win, you lose, I take a card from you. That's about it. um, Trying to think of other gameplay elements here. The whole basic gist, though, of how you progress through this game, though, is as I mentioned, you're collecting 9 badges, and in a in a
Who do you
as you
think you
collect
are,
more,
Gary Oak -1?
yeah, um, yeah, it seems like you have to challenge so many of these characters at once. With each victory, your status improves as a card player. In your menu, in your menu, for when you're working on your deck, you only have, of course, that's shown here. You only can use 5 cards in your deck at a time. You have your status from like a beginner all the way to an expert, and so on and so forth. I forgot the precise status titles are. But once you collect all 9 of the badges, you're called a Toho Master. We got some the people you duel against get unlocked as you defeat other characters, and they just pop up all at once. And eventually, the entire map that you're walking around in, it's all open world. You can freely go wherever you want. Nothing's stopping you. Um, yeah, eventually the whole world's going to be populated with duelists. I guess you can call them that. Um, and you can, you can fight whoever you want. Uh, and in post game, there's other characters you can challenge after you collect all 9 badges and go to run off to back to your world. But you can choose to stay and face these other card players. So there's that. Um, Overall, I found it to be fairly enjoyable, though. It's not going to be for everybody. I already say this game's going to be for just for the Nyanco fans, or of course Toho fans. I myself, I'm somewhat fond of the series. I'm not a super fan though. So yeah, you have to just be really into the Toho project franchise before you want to play this game. Um, yeah. As for the visuals, as you can see here, everything's pixel art. Basically, as I was saying before, some of the character profile pictures, images used for them, some are more detailed than others. Some of the more detailed ones are really quite good. There's some that just use basic overworld, overworld sprites for their profile image. They're not so detailed. Uh, kind of hit and miss, basically, in terms of the art here and there. Though overall, the artwork itself, at its best, is really quite good and I'm actually quite liked. Otherwise, as I said before, the art for the cards is overall really good. Uh, the world map itself, yeah, it's basically it looks like a ink drawn map. Yeah, it's all right. There's nothing to really say beyond that. Let's see now the music. Now this is going to be quite interesting. As you expect, one of the most notable things about the Toho franchise is its music. Though surprisingly, not that much of it is actually used in the game. One of the most notable ones, not Bad Apple. The song, well, not song, but the music. The Gensokyo the Gods Loved is used in the title screen, and I think another variation of it's used during the tutorial section. But otherwise, the rest of the game though, and during your matches, you think some character themes will be used for the matches, but from what I could tell, I think some of this music was from the RPG Maker's library for whichever engine they're using here. I've messed with the RPG Maker in the past, and I seem to recognize some of the songs here, music, background music. I'm not gonna say there's a dent against it, but I just, I guess, somewhat disappointed. Tonight, well, I guess you expect to hear some remix of character teams in these matches here, and even for the overworld as well. I didn't recognize the music for the overworld. It could have been from the RPG Maker's library. I don't know. But yeah, I think for the at the end there they use one other theme though. Didn't recognize it though. But it sounded like it might have been from Toho. I'm not sure though. But yeah, I guess when it comes to music, it's just gonna come down to the person's personal preference and expectations, basically. But I wouldn't say that's a not using remixes throughout the entire game would put a dent against this game. So I guess that brings us to pricing. Let's see here. Now this game's on sale right now, but its basic price is $3.99, so $4. Like I said before, you get this game if you're a Nyanco fan or a Toho fan, basically a big Toho fan. Otherwise, since I guess for a more what's the word I'm trying to think of here? Casual fan. If you're expecting a lot of talk from the characters of the franchise themselves and whatnot, you're going to be disappointed since most of the most interesting dialogue is in the beginning part of the game and at the end. Mm-hmm. And the game itself is going to take about, at least for me, it took about a little over 2 hours, and for this price, I'd say that's okay. Just you'll be basically spending most of your time playing the card game, and that's the overall game. Collecting 9 badges, and if you're a completionist, collecting all the cards, and that's about it. Well, yeah, I say that's the 3.99 is okay. It is good for this game. However, it's on sale right now until tomorrow. This time, $2.79. So it's not gonna hurt you if you get it at its normal price or not. It's the price I say is fine for this game. It's got some DLC as well, the fan pack and the Nyanco card special music. Though I think the special music is not out quite yet, but it's gonna be for free though. So there's that as well. So yeah, it's an alright game. I wasn't enraptured with it, but I did and kind of enjoy it. It was, I guess, at the time something different. So yeah, it was okay. It'll it'll be kind of challenging for you. It can be kind of challenging at times since, at least for me, the rules for the whole combo system didn't seem well explained. But yeah, it's a good game, and that's about it for me.
All right then. So that'll about do it for Nyanco Card, as well as our look at the Nyanco series. Coming up next, Petty Fan will be reviewing a puzzle game called Ultra Hat Dimension.